Welcome to Third Angle, where we're riding the world's fastest e-scooter. I'm your host, Paul Hames from industrial software company PTC. In this podcast, we share the moments where digital transforms physical and meet the brilliant minds behind some of the most innovative products around the world, each powered by PTC technology. In the heart of Italy's famous Motor Valley are YCOM, a leader in motorsport engineering and lightweight composites. They really are at the forefront of high-performance engineering and have been behind some of the most important successes in motorsport, including victory at the 24-hour Le Mans race, Daytona, and also Formula One. But in this episode, we're finding out how their expertise in motorsport helped them develop the revolutionary racing e-scooter, the S1X. Now, this isn't something for the morning commute or the faint-hearted. It's capable of reaching speeds of 62 miles an hour and was designed and built especially for the e-scooter championship in 2022, the world's first electric scooter racing series. To hear all about how they did it, our producer, Mark Desani, visited YCOM's headquarters near Palma for a tour of their HQ with founder and managing director, Nicola Scimeca.
I'm Nicola Scimeca. I'm the founder of YCOM. We are in Parma, just south of Parma, so in the center of the Motor Valley, where we have a lot of motorsport companies, but of course a lot of automotive and hypercar and supercar and brands. They came to us were the founders of ESC, which is the Electric Scooter Championship. They had the idea, and they to do this championship, and they came to us. They first came to us because we were the expert in sustainability applied to motorsport in terms of natural fiber and composite, and natural material. But in the end, they found out that they could do the whole product here, so we developed the whole product together. So and it's quite advanced, yes, carbon chassis, carbon post, and we in-wheel motors, which each motor has 6 kilowatts, so it's also quite a lot of power. It's also the only two wheels vehicles which is two-wheel drive, so the managing of the traction on the front was also quite tricky compared to any other two wheels vehicles, so that was quite interesting to do. In 3 months, we basically developed from scratch the first product, and we didn't know. Nobody knew anything about that, to be honest, because even in terms of wheelbase and size, tire size, and how dimensions and so on, we had to invent completely. We started to do the first test with some MotoGP riders, and then after that, we built another, I think, 20. Because we had the product, but we needed to find the riders, not the drivers, and they got together in order, and they started to learn how to ride the scooters. And then few months later, we built the scooters for the championship, and then we had the 30 scooters in the championship, which is quite interesting to see in terms of bringing innovation to a championship.
How fast do they go?
They go to more than 100 kilometers per hour, and they lean like a MotoGP, which is quite interesting. If you look from outside, it's quite they are quite exciting racing. You move completely. You do a corner where you basically move your feet. It depends on corner left to right. So you move your body, your weight. So it's completely different. It's much more fun also to do compared to a motorbike. And if you look at there were some of the riders, somebody coming from freestyle, or some others coming from a snowboard, which they feel. You actually can see that it's the way they move. It's actually quite nice to look at it, because it's quite interesting. Being the MotoGP of the micromobility in terms of sport, there's a lot behind, because they wanted to become like a regulatory for micromobility in general, for sport, but also for the road. Because if you look, micromobility is a little bit crazy. You see all those scooters, and in some cities are banned, some others, you can go on pedestrian areas. With some other cities, they do the renting. Some others they don't allow renting. So coming from the sport, where you need to be strict in terms of safety, in terms of regulation, in terms of process, and applying also this into the cities or into the production. They got together on talking together on deciding the new regulations for the future. So that was with the, let's say, excuse, or with the reason, a good reason, which was the sport. We are going through the main door. As soon as you get in, you see a lot of pictures and walls and posters says a lot about Le Mans. There's a passion here for Le Mans and endurance racing, so you will see a lot of products and a lot of cars and pictures around. I grew up in Sicily, where there's a lot of heritage of motorsport. I had a lot of car models when I was a kid, but they were all disassembled. Then when I was at high school, I was really repairing the bikes or the motorbikes for my friends. So I was already, I always said I'm more a mechanical than, a mechanical engineer, but really using my hand, on repairing parts, and at one point also making tuning, doing things like that. And then after graduating, I went to US and I worked for a couple of years there for a company which was designing and building racing cars. And I came back to Italy right here, working for a company which was designing and building racing cars. And then when we started YCOM, we just decided really where to be. And again, the Motor Valley in Italy it's a place quite unique, because you have all these very important brands like Ferrari and Lamborghini and Maserati and Ducati. So when you want to work in motorsport, it's really the best environment, because you have access to talent, you have access to suppliers, you have of course access also to customers. But definitely it's an environment which is quite unique in the world. So, and people gather here to work for those companies. So we are really privileged to be here. So we are working through the design office now, where you can see we have about 30 people working on a big open space. And then opening this door, we go through production, place where we do shipping and handling, receiving part and shipping part. What we are is it's a fast track, so it's accelerating the development of a new product. Motorsport is a competitive environment, so you always look for the best. You always look for to improve, which is either improving a process or improving the car, or the ultimate, improving the lap time. If you in our case that we make racing cars. Getting into a place of the company where we normally did build the first prototype. So we have a very clean room here, which looks like a surgery room. And this is the place where we basically assemble normally the first prototype of the cars. So we have done here, GT cars, Formula cars, electric cars as well. Like I said, we assemble normally the first prototype, but we also assembled, for example, the electric scooters for the ESC championship as well, and as well as 24 cars, Formula cars, that we did a few years ago. You see the wheels turning the first time, but it's a quite even an emotional moment when you build the first car. Yeah, the e-scooter racing was really, it's really an interesting concept, an interesting idea.
Hi there, Marcus Bronzi, live from the iconic Printworks in London, in the paddocks for the first ever ESC, e-scooter championships. Here we can see the S1X scooters on their e-docks, charged up ready to go? We have the technicians making
We had one race. Actually, we had 4 races on the first year, 4 races on 4 different environments, because one was in the center of London, so pure city with a very nice landscape. Another one was in the center of a small village in Switzerland, different environment, small street going up and down, so that was quite cool. And one other race was in a go-kart track.
The battle at the front is real right now between these two. We're on board with Nehru. Oh, he's got a chance right now. He boosts. Is he past? I think he is.
Yep, and he throws.
Does it look like a traditional street scooter?
Looks like maybe a little bit scaled traditional street scooters, but in the end, if you go close, it's completely different. Yes, the wheels are same size as Mini Moto, so they are pure racing wheels. But if you look at the scooter was a constant feedback and a constant evolution. You know, through all the races, they had feedback to us. We're coming back to the next race with the different, solutions or different components or different parts. I was always saying old Formula One days, where you go to the test, they have, a different suspension, different component, different software, and so on. It was quite cool because we could bring really different solutions every test, which was every second week, basically. Going through this door, we go into the composite shop. So where we manufacture all the composite parts, and you can see here we have some rooms where we have we prepare molds, we prepare components, parts. And in terms of sustainability, we have done also a lot of work on using sustainable materials. We use, instead of carbon fibers on some application, also some natural fiber, and we use this for a lot of composite, for a lot of bodywork, so non-structural part. But on this we did quite an interesting project, because we designed and built and tested a front crash box, which is the front absorbing structure that we have in front of any racing cars, using sustainable materials to make something which is normally it's quite difficult to make with a material which is not as strong as composite or as carbon fiber. Well, definitely we are continuously evolving in terms of processes, in terms of the way we work as a company. Definitely there's a lot of push for sustainability, which will bring probably new different materials into motorsport. The natural fiber we use, it's still use a component, a resin which is not organic. Now we are going to develop a lot of organic resin, so if we get to a point where we can use those materials, basically will be 100% organic. And as well, the future brings a lot of innovation in terms of new product. These electric cars, there is hydrogen, there is IC hydrogen or fuel cell hydrogen. Our vision is to be a fast track to develop and manufacture new advanced mobility product, which of course motorsport is advanced, so motorsport at the moment is still our main focus, but we have done and we are doing and we will do even more in the future of new, accelerating the development for our customer, for a new advanced vehicles.
That was Nicola Scimeca at YCOM, and the fascinating story of how they took the e-scooter from the sidewalk to the track. Now let's hear from our expert, Mark Lobo from PTC.
Hey, Paul, thanks again for having me on Third Angle Podcast. I always look forward to these sessions. It brings out the nerdy, geeky nature in me, but this is one story I absolutely have to talk about here. So e-scooter was developed from scratch, right? They developed something that took shape incrementally. So it was constantly driven by feedback that was coming from the vehicle testers. So Windchill was essential to manage the project in this structured way. It also demonstrated all its key features in helping YCOM manage the project. We were able to show with Windchill its great flexibility in integration. So they had to interface with some third-party software in a smooth and transparent way. So this allowed them with the possibility to exchange design models in 3D, bills of material, and all kinds of product documentation in a way that could be customized according to specific needs. So why is this important? Having the right PLM system in place also proved to be the ideal corporate tool for YCOM. It provided experience, know-how, and the technologies that enabled not only faster and more effective achievement of the goals that they'd established with the customer, but also comprehensive and documented management of the design, so the parts, the assemblies, and in fact, the entire scooter product throughout the life cycle. Here's the kicker. In just 6 months, YCOM was able to go from idea to prototype to production of several dozen vehicles ready for real track testing. Remember, I said 6 months. That is quite amazing. So what's great here is that YCOM have pushed the boundaries in terms of producing an environmentally friendly e-scooter. And my kids will love this because they're all about sustainability these days, which is also the fact that it's made of sustainable products. So that's a major step forward in combining these two aspects. Not only that, YCOM have given a completely innovative twist to people's view on what a scooter can do. Congrats to them.
A huge thank you to our expert Mark for sharing insights into the technology that helped bring the S1X to life. And of course, special thanks to Nicola Scimeca for the fascinating tour of YCOM's headquarters and their groundbreaking work in sustainable motorsports engineering. Please rate, review, and subscribe to our bi-weekly Third Angle episodes wherever you listen to your podcasts, and follow PTC on LinkedIn and X for future episodes. Companies that make products the world relies on, rely on PTC. This is an 1860 production for PTC. Executive producer is Jackie Cook, sound design and editing by Remy McKenna, location recording by Mark Desani, and music by Rowan Bishop.